All right. Welcome back to week 3 of the post game pod for the Philadelphia Eagles, where the Eagles survived and won in New Orleans 15-12 in what was a game that definitely the Eagles definitely shouldn't have won that one. But again, you're going to take any ugly win you can. This was huge given the stakes coming into this game. Saints were red hot. Eagles came off that super gut punching loss on Monday. And they responded in a huge way and came away with the win. And that, at the end of the day, that's, they were staring adversity, and that was exactly the kind of win that we needed to, get kind of back on track here. So my main takeaways from this game that I really enjoyed: Saquon Barkley obviously had another huge game, 17 carries, 147 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And he broke open for a 65-yard touchdown. That was an awesome play. And that was our first score of the day. And he really did a good job just keeping us in the game, especially when early on they weren't using him at all. So it was really good to see them finally just kind of trust Saquon and just let him go. So he was huge. And Dallas Goedert also had a huge game, and it was also another huge reception in the fourth quarter that allowed us to score on that last drive. So shout out to Dallas. I'm glad we were able to use him a ton. And Devontae Smith, he had a great game, 7 catches, 79 yards, but he did get hurt. He got concussed in the third going into the fourth quarter. So he was ruled out. I'm not sure what the status on that's going to be for him when he comes back. That's huge because now the Eagles are down their 2 leading receivers. So honestly, when it came down to it, you could tell the Eagles were really just funneling to Saquon and Goddard and hoping that they could just make plays for them. So this was just a gritty win. And the negative from this, though, was Jalen Hurts. Like, Jalen, he, overall had 29 of 38, 311 yards. He had an interception and a fumble that were both turned over. And you got to be better. Like, it was frustrating because had he just played a clean game and we scored on those possessions, whether it was touchdown or field goals, we're looking at a totally different game. And it sucks that we had 7 penalties in this one, all at bad times, that whenever we were getting something going, it was either a penalty or a dumb decision. And so this was just, ugly on the offensive side of the ball. And it was a little bit more discouraging because they had a week to kind of figure this thing out on how they wanted to attack. Overall, at the end of the day, we were able to move the ball. With the turnovers, we just weren't executing when it mattered most. And that's just something that we're not going to be able to survive many games playing that way. But we got away with one here. And the reason we did was because our defense, that was very much maligned and talked about in a very negative way coming out of the Falcons game, responded in a huge way. And they held Derek Carr to 14 of 25, 142 yards. He did get a touchdown at the end there, but he also had that game-sealing interception. They held Alvin Kamara to 87 yards on 3 yards a carry, and really did a good job preventing any huge, deep plays to happen. Like Rashid Shaheed got 0 catches today. They did a really good job covering him and trying to prevent the Saints from really being explosive. And they were playing that 5 down front defensively and really dominating the run point and setting the edge. The D-line responded in a huge way with an awesome game. So I got to give them their flowers because this was literally as good as they could have played. And they could have folded, especially with how many opportunities the offense was giving the Saints with short fields, and they also got a block punt. So this defense only allowed 12 points, and they had to survive a lot. And that's been the case. Our red zone defense has been awesome. And I think that's something that, despite all the run stopping issues last week, was a huge positive coming into this week, and they responded again. So the defense really, if I had to give a game ball, I'm giving it to that whole defense because everyone played really well. Jalen Carter had a huge game. Reed Blankenship got that game-sealing interception, and C.J. Gardner-Johnson made a few plays. Quinyon Mitchell made a couple plays. Like, everyone got involved, and the pass rush was generating pressure. We were stopping them at the point of attack on the ground. They really couldn't get anything going all game. So I was really impressed with, how we attacked this Saints offense and just forced them to get uncomfortable. And this was just a really positive sign going into next week, because this was the highest powered offense in the NFL coming into this game. So, the fact that we responded this way is exactly, what we could have hoped for. And it's good that they responded like this, knowing that like the offense is the issue, and it's mainly like I think, if Jalen just cleans up, if he just isn't a turnover machine, and I don't know what it is, but it's gotten to the point now where he has 6 turnovers in the first 3 games. He's averaging 2 a game. That's not sustainable. So we're winning in spite of him right now, and we really need to win because of him or with him, not because he's holding us back. We're paying him $50 million. He should not be holding us back the way he has been. So he needs to play better. But at the end of the day, he, you know, had the game sealing drive. He was good when it mattered. So, he never gets rattled in that regard. So I don't want to kill him too much, but he has to play better. So if he plays a little bit better, and hopefully we get AJ and Devontae back sooner rather than later, we're going to have plenty of time to hang in there and really still contend in the division and still make noise in the conference. So I think my overall game balls for the team, I give my first one to Jalen Carter. I think overall he just did a good job being that disruptive presence. This was arguably his best game um, in his young career so far. And I just love the way he was stopping the run and stopping the pass and batting balls down. He was a force all game. At the end there, he did kind of do a little bit too much over celebrating. I don't like, I understand, like, this was a huge win. You guys made huge plays and you needed to, you want to hype yourself up, but, you got to be careful in those situations. You don't want to cost your team. But I liked his energy and his intensity, and that shows that he cares. But he's, something to monitor with him. My second game ball is going to go to Saquon. An awesome response for, an all-time gut punch last week, and he responded by just staying true to what he is and just being a great runner. And he was making catches, even if they were just, dump off check downs, like, he made every catch today, and he seemed to really shake off any nerves that came from losing on Monday. So he responded really well, and he obviously had that, huge run, and that was a huge moment in this game. So Saquon definitely deserves that game ball. And for this third one, there's a few ways I could go. I could go on the defensive side. I think there was a lot of guys who played really well, but I got to give it to Dallas Goedert because he's always a guy who could be used more and never really is. And he was needed in this game, and to have career highs in catches and yards today, that's again, as good as a response as you can get. So there was a lot of ugly moments in this game. This was not a clean game by any stretch. But we held a really good team to 12 points, and that's something that we can take going into next week. And now we are 2-1. So the worst we can be is 2-2 should we lose to Tampa Bay going into the bye. But this was, we stared adversity in the face on the road in a tough environment, and there was an opportunity to almost lose the game again. So this was a good response that this team desperately needed. And to go 2-1 in this spot is something that, I think is huge, and it softens the blow. And obviously, again, all this stuff, it's early on. It's only week 3. But given all the talk that was surrounding this team, this was almost a must win from a vibes perspective, and they went in there and stole this game. So, I'm going to take that and run with it, and hopefully guys can get back. There was a lot of injuries in this game. Like, it wasn't just Devontae, it was Lane Johnson and Mekhi Becton. So our 2 starting offensive linemen on the right side went out this game, and our backups, Tyler Steen and Fred Johnson, did an awesome job. They held it down. So it was great for that next man up mentality. And Darius Slay ended up getting hurt on a really dirty play when their New Orleans offensive lineman Trevor Penning pushed him out. And it was a penalty that ended up costing the Saints. But you want, if guys are going to get hurt, you'd hope it was more in control of the moment, like more in the moment, not a dirty play like that. So hopefully Slay's okay too. And we were able to respond even without him there. So that was, again, that sucks. Like, the Eagles are going down and getting hurt. A lot of guys are going down, and, the Eagles are a real top heavy team. So hopefully, guys can come back so we can hopefully find a groove sooner rather than later. But again, a win is a win. And this is a lot. We would have been gashing this team and a lot of Nick Sirianni's decisions in this game had they lost, but they won. And we can discuss the questionable decisions on the pod. Ben and I will go a little bit more into detail there, because I thought there was moments. This is not the best Nick Sirianni game. I thought he made, he should have went for a field goal early on. He shouldn't have went for a couple of these four-side. I don't know exactly what it was. He seems to. I think he's losing his identity a little bit. I think he just needs to calm down. I think the pressure is getting to him a little bit, but this win's going to help him calm down and kind of find his groove again. So, overall, I think those were the main takeaways, and Ben and I will break down more, like I said, on the pod this week. At least we got a week 3 win. I needed this, this response from the anger I felt last week. So this was really promising. And, the things I thought I was worried about, now it's my quarterback is an issue. So this is something that, hopefully Jalen can fix this in the next few weeks. But I'm Marcos Conan Negron. We will talk to you guys soon. You can hit us up on behindthebackpod13 at gmail.com. All the links to our social medias are down below in the description. So please feel free to give us a like, subscribe, follow, all that fun jazz. We really appreciate you guys. I'll talk to you during the week. Peace.